Hello everyone, it's Gerardo Del Real here. As many of you watching today already know, I'm a metals and mining guy. The resource sector is my hometown, my backyard. It's where I'm most comfortable. And it's where I've made most of my money, including, as many of you know, a 10,000% gain on Patriot Battery Metals, a 1,450% gain on Nevada Sunrise, Magna Gold, Quest for Minerals, K2 Gold, there's been many others. But today I'm going to do something very, very different. It's something I've never done before, but something I've thought about doing. I've wondered about it. And frankly, I've been a bit nervous about it. But today I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to make my first investment into Bitcoin. While I've always been intrigued by the possibilities of the crypto and blockchain world, it's something that I've never really known much about. And my usual method, as many of you know, for investing is to stick to what I know, which is sound advice for managing most of your money. However, as I'm sure you also know, that can't be your only approach because you're never going to know everything, and because smart investing also requires diversifying your portfolio. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. That's foolish. And if you want to diversify your investments with high growth potential as I do, then this is truly something that's worth my and your time. I've also always said that it's important to expand your reach into new opportunities, and that's where you need to get help from someone who knows more. Ultimately, what changed my mind was the research report that I read from my friend and colleague here at Digest Publishing, our own in-house crypto expert, Mr. Chris Curl. It's after reading Chris's insights that I realized it was time to get off the fence and make a substantial purchase. And then there's also his list of winning investments, which frankly aren't far off from what I've made in the resource space. After what I've seen from Chris, I would be a fool to completely miss out on the possibilities of this timely investment. And that's not something I say or see very often. So even though I already know that crypto is never going to be my bread and butter, Chris has convinced me that it makes an excellent grape jelly. Which is why over the next few minutes, I've asked Chris to share with you what he told me. He's also going to walk me through my first purchase of Bitcoin, and you're going to get the chance to literally look over my shoulder as I do. So hopefully I don't mess it up. This is for real, and it's with real money, folks. So without further ado, here's what changed my mind about Bitcoin. Chris has flown here to Austin, Texas, and joined me at my home to show me firsthand how all of this works. He's a tried and true expert with years of experience, and he runs his very own publication here at Digest Publishing. It's called Crypto Cycle. He's been publishing it for more than 3 years now. But most importantly, he's a calm, steady voice to the ups and downs of the crypto world. And he makes it easy to follow his lead on this volatile but extremely lucrative corner of the market. Chris, great having you here, sir. Take it away.
Hi, thank you, Gerardo. I'm happy to be here today. Investing in crypto has completely changed my life and given me financial opportunities that I haven't been able to find anywhere else. Not only have I made triple-digit gains on Bitcoin, but I've also made a host of other gains from across the crypto space, in many cases earning up to 10 times my money. Now, there are 3 essential things every investor needs to know about Bitcoin, and I'll go through each one of them in turn. Beginning with essential number 1, Bitcoin is digital gold.
Yes, and this actually is the first thing that jumped out at me and started to change my mind about Bitcoin. Its similarity to gold. It's a resource I know well, as you know, both on the commodity side and on the mining side. And so your points here made all the sense to me.
Well, it's for a good reason, because Bitcoin isn't as different from gold as you would think. What makes gold so valuable, apart from being just a shiny metal, is its relatively finite supply. In this way, Bitcoin is the same kind of commodity. It can't be completely controlled by one country or by one company or by one billionaire. Gold is an independent store of value, and Bitcoin works in that same way. Nobody can change or alter it. It functions on its own independently. Not even the president or famous billionaires like Bill Gates or Elon Musk have any control over its operations. That's why Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager with over $11 trillion under management, was one of the first to refer to it as digital gold. He also went one step further and recommended it as an essential hedge against inflation, saying it was even more important than gold. And his words have been heeded. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is the most successful ETF launch in history. And combined with all the other Bitcoin ETFs from other brokerages, they dwarf any other kind of investment. This ETF activity has changed the entire financial landscape. So much so that when comparing gold and Bitcoin, billionaire Mark Cuban said he'd rather be holding Bitcoin. I think it has more value, he said, and went on to explain that if another financial crisis were to hit, Bitcoin is the more useful asset. Now, Gerardo, I know you well enough to know that you're not giving up on gold anytime soon.
No, sir, I am not. You are quite correct there. Gold bracelets in hand, very intentional, right?
And honestly, nor should you. Gold has treated you well, and gold still has an important role to play in the economy as a hedge against inflation and as a lasting store of value. I'm pro-gold. I'm an owner of gold, and so I don't want to miss the point, which is in this new digital landscape that Bitcoin has an ever-increasing role to play. That's the only point I'm trying to make today. Hold on to your gold and take advantage of gold's price during these wild and uncertain times. But don't grip it so tight that you lose sight of the very real transformation that's happening around us, where a digital store of value is going to be important for your financial future. And I'm here with good news, Gerardo. You can have your cake and eat it too. The greatest safety, security, and upside comes with holding both. This is what I've been telling Nick. Even the U.S. Treasury has called Bitcoin digital gold. It's used those exact words in official Treasury reports. And even our beloved Jerome Powell, chair of the board of the governors of the Fed, has admitted that Bitcoin has a closer correlation to gold than to the U.S. dollar. And then, most important of all, it's now being considered a strategic reserve asset by the Trump administration. Add all of that up, and it means you've got quite the strong case for Bitcoin. But then here's what stands out to me, Gerardo. While that's fine for all those billionaires and hedge funds, what matters to me as an individual investor is that Bitcoin is an accessible store of value that's free from the clutches of the investment banks. And the Fed's begrudging admission that Bitcoin has value isn't what motivates me. Quite the opposite. I'm an investor in Bitcoin because it's independent from what the Fed is doing and from its constant monkeying with the economy.
Yeah.
I could care less about what the Washington, D.C. lobbyist-driven cabal thinks is important or about the agendas of some famous billionaires. I'm interested in what will preserve my own wealth when it counts the most. And I know you are too.
Absolutely, it's core to my being, right? You're speaking my language, Chris, and that's what caught my attention about Bitcoin. And look, let's be real. It's caught everyone's attention now. I'm not the only one. Not long ago, I was at a metals and mining conference in Vancouver, BC. What do you think everyone was talking about? A lot of Bitcoin, right? And so you got all these geologists and all these owners of mining companies, diehard gold bugs. They were talking about Bitcoin. The same thing happened at another resource conference in Beaver Creek, Colorado. The owner of one mining company was comparing the small market cap of his company to a new crypto coin, which was worth 10 times more. He joked to me, I'm in the wrong business. Look, there's no denying that these new digital assets, as you call them, Chris, have stormed onto the stage. They've been cautious about it, as I have, and they've been asking hard questions about it, as they should. But the point is, crypto has captured everyone's attention. And the correlation of Bitcoin to gold hasn't been lost on any of these guys, and it hasn't been lost on myself.
Well, then here's a nice bonus that I think you'll appreciate. Famous investors like Warren Buffett have often complained about gold's lack of yield. This is an area where Bitcoin is a better commodity to own than gold because it's easy to earn yield on your Bitcoin, and you can do it safely right in your trading account. With 2 clicks of the mouse, you can be earning a minimum of 4% yield on your Bitcoin. Other options allow you to get even more with very minimal risk.
Well, look, I am an exploration guy that really loves the high risk, high reward sector, but you can't argue with the power of a steady yield, especially with inflation always nipping at your heels, trying to gobble up the value of my and everyone's investments.
You're absolutely right, Gerardo. And that's why this next part is especially important, which brings us to essential number 2. Bitcoin is a growth asset. Unlike the dollar, the euro, the pound, and any other fiat currency, Bitcoin is deflationary. It has an automatic built-in deflationary mechanism that over time reduces the supply of Bitcoin generated by Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin has become the trillion-dollar asset that it is because it has consistently, without the input of anyone or any government, ticked block by block across its blockchain without any intervening. And this includes a hardwired mechanism that's locked tight inside its original code that reduces inflation over time. It's called the Bitcoin halving. It's happened 4 times already, and each time the halving occurs, it's led to an increase in price exactly as it was intended to do. As you can see in this chart right here, Bitcoin is extremely efficient at maintaining its price by reducing its available supply over time. Each halving is followed by an increase in price. Now, if this all sounds a bit technical, the good news is that you don't need to worry about the details. In fact, the halving is way easier to understand than all of the mechanisms that prop up the US dollar's value, like quantitative easing and the Fed's other manipulation of treasuries. But again, it really is something you don't have to worry about. You can take it for granted because it happens automatically. Nobody can change or alter it, and it keeps the price of Bitcoin growing. As I'm sure you know all too well, the same can't be said about the dollar. Inflation continues to run away at breakneck speed. And every time the Fed has a meeting or makes an announcement or even hints at a rate change, the dollar and the markets go flying.
No, look, I absolutely agree with everything you just said. And clearly, it's something that also stood out to me. Now, Chris, please don't ask me to repeat back everything or most of what you just said about the Bitcoin halving and all of that, because I know I wouldn't be able to get all or even probably half of the details right. But I know very well the value of reducing inflation. And I'm sure everyone watching today can agree on that part. The dollar's inflation is out of control. Uncle Sam is addicted to the printing press and pumping out dollars without a thought to the future. Congress, addicted to debt. They keep borrowing more and more, and what's now ended up with a $35+ trillion deficit. I put the number up on the screen for everyone to see, but by the time I did, it would have already grown higher. It's actually $36 trillion as of this morning, because it's literally growing by the second. That's why financial prosperity continues to be harder and harder for everyday Americans, because the goalposts continue to move. As I'm sure everyone today remembers, $1 million used to be a great fortune. Now it can barely buy a single-family home in many places. So this concept of an investment that's automatically deflationary, reducing supply on its own, maintaining its price growth, and getting away from the manipulation of the Fed and markets that are chasing the next rate cut, that's really, really compelling to me, Chris.
And that's what Bitcoin offers. It's an inescapable reality. All fiat currencies are by their nature inflationary. They'll keep eating away at the value of what they can purchase. Bitcoin is the only store of value we have that's going the opposite direction. And that's why Bitcoin will always win. And I can't stress this enough, especially given the times we live in. This is compounded by the fact that borrowing continues to increase at the same time. Even if it stops tomorrow, Bitcoin still wins the value war. And they're not going to stop tomorrow. Bitcoin's advantages are built in. Nobody can mess with them or take them away. And you don't have to do anything extra to get the benefits. It's part of why Bitcoin keeps going up and will continue to keep going up. Now, it's obviously a volatile asset with plenty of price swings. I'm not going to pretend for a second that it isn't. But the overall trend is very consistently an upward trend. And no other investment has delivered such impressive returns. And it's repeatedly been proven that portfolios that contain Bitcoin deliver a higher return than portfolios without it. Now, that part you might expect. But here's the part that you might find surprising. Portfolios that contain Bitcoin are also more consistent in their performance, volatility and all. In good times, bad times, with a good president or a bad president, none of that matters. Bitcoin wins in each and every time frame. By putting even just 2% of your portfolio into Bitcoin, you can greatly increase the performance of your portfolio. Let me point you to a recent study by Morningstar, which, as I'm sure you remember, Gerardo, I included in the special report I gave you. Morningstar has proven the consistent performance of Bitcoin by conducting a detailed study using the standard 60-40 portfolio over various 4-year periods. That is 60% equities, 40% bonds and fixed income. In one portfolio, they included just 2% Bitcoin as part of the equities. In the other portfolio, they didn't. If you look at the percentages on a graph, they look almost identical. But that tiny 2% of Bitcoin is going to yield enormous results. And yield results regardless of what's happening in the markets and the wider world. Consistently, regardless of the 4-year period they modeled, the portfolios that contained 2% Bitcoin did markedly better and did so with greater consistency. They modeled 4-year periods before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic, in different presidential administrations, during bull sentiment and bear sentiment, and with low Fed rates and high Fed rates. Regardless of the 4-year period they chose, the portfolio with Bitcoin always came out on top. Morningstar concluded, the inclusion of Bitcoin in the portfolio again contributed to its overall strong performance and a better ability to manage downside volatility. And the results speak for themselves. When you add Bitcoin to your portfolio, you're consistently going to make more. And I've seen the results in my real life, in my own portfolio. And so have the readers of Crypto Cycle. They've seen it too. And they've written to me to confirm that it's consistently helped them outperform what they were doing before. Again, these superior results were achieved using only a minimum case. That's just 2% of your portfolio. But it gets even better. There's a lot more you can do. And it's not just about Bitcoin alone. When you pair Bitcoin with the other impressive financial innovations in the crypto space, you can push those numbers even higher. You've got a powerful formula for building wealth on a life-changing scale. Which brings us to essential number 3. Bitcoin is transforming finance. As we've already covered, Bitcoin is the most important part of the equation, and how to smartly and safely incorporate Bitcoin into your portfolio is a key strategy for everything I cover in Crypto Cycle. But my research has also yielded other great investment opportunities from elsewhere in the crypto space. And I've carefully put together an entire portfolio of crypto investments that are positioned to benefit from innovations across the best performing blockchains. Let me walk you through a few examples. The first is Solana, which is currently the 3rd largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Solana offers a giant leap forward in what crypto can do. It's high speed, low cost, and capable of all kinds of transactions and smart contracts. Its native token has shown me and my readers gains of well over 1,000%. I can give you all the specifics. Back on December 29th of 2022, I wrote to my Crypto Cycle readers that I was picking up more Solana at $8. At the time, the crypto markets were trying to make sense of bad news from Sam Bankman-Fried and other bad actors in the space. Now, for the record, I had already told my readers to steer clear of those pitfalls, and none of them lost $1 to that entire debacle. Those were unfortunate disasters for investors who were lured by too-good-to-be-true schemes from liars out for their own personal gain. I even wrote to my readers in an article, "Is Sam Bankman-Fried the devil?" Before the news broke about his fraud. Thanks to my years in the crypto industry, I've learned how to spot the bad apples by now. As you know, Gerardo, I work overtime to keep people like that the hell away from my portfolio. So many people suffered unnecessarily because they didn't have the insights I share every month in Crypto Cycle, which is a shame. But the big silver lining for my readers was that we were able to turn a very unfortunate crisis into a buying opportunity. We snapped up a number of crypto projects at bargain basement prices. I wrote in Crypto Cycle, The sentiment for Solana is very poor right now, which is resulting in more sell pressure. I'm buying more to average down my position in the portfolio. And when it recovers, as I think it will, the rewards will be massive. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. In fact, as you see in this chart, the rewards far exceeded what had even seemed possible at the time. Solana surged to $80, making us 10 times our money. And then it kept going, eventually breaking $100, and then $200, all the way to $295.
Sounds like that's a lot like just in the resource space, right? Information being everything. It's literally worth its weight in gold.
Yes, exactly. And I kept my readers updated each step of the way. They never had to wonder what to do. I covered it in my regular issues of Crypto Cycle. I covered it in my quarterly call-ins where they can ask me their hardest questions in real time. And believe me, they did. I answered all of their hardest questions at least as best I could. I'm always honest. I tell it like it is. And I also keep the conversation on what'll make the most difference for us as investors. It paid off in short order, and it's continued to pay off. We're still making money on these and other projects. And this isn't the only example. Let me walk you through another one so you can see exactly what I mean. I also help my Crypto Cycle readers make up to 500% on a project called Sui. On September 9th, 2024, I wrote, Sui is showing a lot of strength. As an up-and-coming Layer 1 project, I think it will continue to perform well in this bull market. I told my readers about the features that set Sui apart and why it was primed for growth. One reader, John B., wrote to tell me about his results.
Thank you for the recommendation on Sui. I've made 300% so far, and I would have never known about it without Crypto Cycle. I'm looking forward to the next issue and what you're covering next.
And he didn't have to wait long. In the very next issue, I wrote about Say, which brands itself as a decentralized NASDAQ, helps coordinate transactions for centralized exchanges. Given the close relationship between tech and crypto, and tech's strong growth, this was a natural fit for getting exposure to big tech dollars. And my readers saw 500% gains in a matter of weeks. But while it's nice to earn rapid gains, who doesn't love those? I should point out that we're not just out chasing the next hot new thing. That never works, especially with all the meme coins that we've been hearing about lately. Yeah. Crypto Cycle has also done a good job of identifying strong projects early on and then following them as they develop and grow. I've worked hard to sift through the hype and find lasting value. Take my recommendation of Near Protocol, for example. I've been writing about it for years. And in early 2023, I wrote to my readers about Near Protocol's use of the Rust programming language and why this project would yield developmental benefits that would continue to set it apart because of this fact. It wasn't long before others in the mainstream were saying the same thing, including some pretty big names, Elon Musk among them.
Heard of that guy.
He even went on a Twitter rant about the benefits of Rust and why it's the optimal programming language for not only crypto, but also for artificial intelligence. And note that all of this was before the AI boom was mainstream and long before tech stocks like NVIDIA had taken off. Near Protocol has continued to show a strong performance, and it's part of my portfolio at Crypto Cycle.
Those are excellent examples, Chris. Thank you. One of the things that's also stood out to me about your research is that you, like me, also eat your own cooking. You're personally invested in your own success. That's huge in this business. You've got skin in the game. And as I'm sure you and everyone watching at home knows all too well, this makes an enormous difference. You're not some armchair analyst or a zoned out crypto blogger, a keyboard warrior as they call them. You've got your own money on the line. And that includes your portfolio, which I know you started with $50,000. That's real dollars.
That's right, Gerardo. It's called the Real Money Portfolio because it was started with $50,000 in real dollars back in 2022. It's grown quite a bit since then, and every time I buy or sell a position, I immediately send out an alert and make a note of it on the Crypto Cycle website. This has been a favorite feature for all of my readers, new and old. You can follow me move by move as I make my purchases. There's no need to wonder what to do next, and I provide detailed instructions and analysis for each one. Many of my readers have been complete beginners and had never bought Bitcoin or any other crypto before joining Crypto Cycle. They've written me to tell me about how they've appreciated how easy it is to follow along. I've tried to explain every update in words that all investors can understand. But I don't stop there. I also add thoughtful analysis that'll help you grow your knowledge of the crypto space over time. I have experienced crypto traders who are regular readers of Crypto Cycle, and I've been honored that they've been able to make good use of my insights. Like Daryl B., who recently wrote to me saying,
Chris, excellent job on reviewing the risk profile of MicroStrategy. Kudos.
and another named John B., who used my research on a crypto project called Phantom to make 1,033% gains. It's been gratifying to see Crypto Cycle make a real difference for my readers.
Yeah, and let me be clear, you're absolutely being modest, Chris. If you'll allow me to brag a little on your behalf, there's a lot more where those came from. I've personally seen your track record, and you've seen success across the space. So I got to ask you, what's next?
Well, thank you, Gerardo. It has been good. It has. But I really do believe this is only the beginning of what we'll see in the crypto space. I hope this doesn't sound too bold, but it's my goal to turn my real money portfolio into $1 million.
It's what we like. It's why we're here. And no, that's not too bold at all. That's why I'm here. It's why I've decided to finally give this space the attention it deserves, Chris.
Well, your timing is good, because I think we're finally starting to see some of the macro catalysts truly falling into place for crypto. The Trump administration finally rolled back the oppressive oversight from the SEC that was scaring away crypto investment and chasing the best opportunities from America's shores. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency have finally entered the mainstream. They're easy to buy, and real investors have gained access to this lucrative space. It's already outperforming most other sectors of the market and provides a hedge to the dollar. Nation-states have begun stockpiling Bitcoin and other digital assets. Here in the U.S., we've been moving to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This changes everything for Bitcoin as a store of value. America is back in the driver's seat for producing digital assets. Thanks to recent legislation, we're once again mining Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in record amounts. And small crypto firms are innovating the next generation of finance in creative hubs across America. Investment banks, portfolio managers, and hedge funds continue to expand their reach into digital assets. And institutional investors have also become active to the tune of billions of dollars, something that seemed impossible just a few short years ago. We're in a new era of wealth building. And then one last very big reason: the dawn of digital resources. We live in the information age. The internet, AI, cloud computing, they're the biggest factors in our economy right now. More than $1 trillion are going into building larger and faster data centers across the globe right now, as we speak. And digital assets are the key component to making all of that work. Everyone watching today is already familiar with the fact that money is digital. Whether it's a credit card or linked to your bank account, that's what you're using every day. What we're witnessing right now is the natural progression to using digital resources. It's what makes every part of our world work, and it's here to stay. It's also what's going to decide tomorrow's fortunes. I'm here to show you how to tap into these digital resources.
It's interesting times, fascinating times, and I think exciting times. That was really well said, Chris. Those are all certainly significant macro forces that we're seeing right now. Even I can see them. And frankly, I'm ready to carve out my stake. I think it's time now for the rubber to actually meet the road.
Well, don't worry. There's really nothing to be afraid of. If you can handle everything you've done in the resource space, you're more than qualified to make these investments. In fact, I'd argue you're probably overqualified. But I'll walk you through each step. We'll start by going to your computer, where we'll set up a trading account. I provide a short list of recommended crypto exchanges as well as instructions for using them. I even have a video walkthrough for my recommended exchanges. But you can use whatever exchange best fits your needs. It's still easy to follow along. Next, I'll have you take a look at my latest updates on the Crypto Cycle website, where you'll find my updated buy recommendations so you know exactly what to do and when. I'll also tell you how these recommendations relate to any recent news. And then you'll also see my updated positions in my real money portfolio. You can make most of those purchases right in your trading account. And again, I include instructions for each one, including several video walkthroughs for when they're most helpful. It's like any resource investment, with the exception that these resources are digital. Do you feel like you're ready and have everything you need?
I'm ready to get to it. Let's get this done.
All right. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it?
No, look, I pride myself on being a simple guy, and even for me, that was pretty straightforward and simple. I actually feel real good about everything that you laid out today. What you said about Bitcoin as digital gold, I completely understand that. It's a chance to get away from the Fed and reduce inflation, unlike the Fed, and a chance to benefit from the financial innovation that's already quickly changing the world. I'd be foolish to ignore. Chris has put together everything you need to know to make successful investments in this lucrative space. As we promised, you'll get to follow along step by step. I asked Chris to write it all down for me and to put it in a special report for you. It's called How to Make Your First Bitcoin Gains. Chris Curl's Secrets in 3 Easy Steps. You'll find that it has everything you need to get started and then some. Chris, can you give everyone a preview, please?
Absolutely. I'll give you my up-to-the-minute recommendation on how, where, and when to buy Bitcoin. I've included several steps that'll maximize your gains and help you avoid many of the pitfalls that first-time investors make. It's an easy-to-read language, and it's been helpful to hundreds of my readers. And then, as you heard earlier, unlike gold, it's possible to turn Bitcoin into a yield-bearing asset. It's simple, safe, and you can do it right in your trading account. I can show you how to make 4% a year on it at a minimum. And then I'll introduce you to my real money portfolio. I'll explain how and why I created this portfolio, why it's outperforming so many other crypto ETFs and portfolios out there, and why it gives you the positive exposure to the best crypto has to offer. As you heard, many positions have previously made 1,000% or more. We're going to continue to see gains like this from key movers. Your report will also include bonus material you can't find anywhere else, including several video walkthroughs on how to set up your trading account, how to maximize the security of your account, and what to watch in the days and weeks ahead.
And then, I'll be honest, Chris, one thing that makes me feel good about all of this is Chris's advice doesn't stop here. Let me be blunt. There's a lot of BS out there, folks. You've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it. And part of the reason why I've never invested in Bitcoin before is because everything that's been shoveled in my direction from a lot of different directions. That's why Chris is so different. And you'll never be left hanging, wondering what to do next. His service includes regular updates that come like clockwork, 24 action-packed issues of Crypto Cycle a year. Not long after joining, you'll receive the latest issue of Crypto Cycle. They're timely and they're packed full of his latest observations on what's happening in crypto and includes all the updates on the positions in the portfolio. And then Chris also has other features in Crypto Cycle that are worth every penny. You'll get live quarterly call-ins. As you heard earlier, this includes live quarterly call-ins where you can ask any questions you can think of. 4 times a year, Chris hosts a live event that's just for you, where he provides a market overview and then answers questions from readers. You can get all your questions answered either directly by emailing them ahead of time or asking them live right on the call. And then Chris also has an entire educational series that makes it easy to understand what crypto is really all about. Chris has been at this for quite some time. And over the years, he's built up an entire series of reports, video tutorials, and educational walkthroughs. I'd be lying to you if I said I'd watch them all, but get this, as a guy who's never wanted to invest in Bitcoin before today, they've been helpful for unpacking what all of this stuff is about. As I said, everywhere I go, even at gold mining conferences, people are talking about Bitcoin. This Crypto U series has given me the insights I needed the most when I finally got around to pulling them up. Chris is setting you up for success. His goal is to make sure you're fully equipped to make the most of the crypto markets. And then best of all, you're going to get all of this at a price you can afford. The moment you click the button below, you'll be taken to a short order form with a price that's just for you. As the owner, I've personally made sure it's the lowest we can offer. We're not here to waste your time, our time, or anyone else's time. No, sir. And your satisfaction and your success are also guaranteed.
That's right. We know Bitcoin is a new kind of investment for many readers, and we want to make sure that it's simple for you to try out for yourself. You get a full 60 days to see if you like it. That's plenty of time for you to read your special report, have a look at my real money portfolio, watch my videos, and read the latest issue of Crypto Cycle. I think you'll love what you see, but if you find it's not for you, no hard feelings. You get a full refund. Simple as that. My hope is to prove to you that this research is worth every penny and show you incredible returns you didn't even know were possible. Even 2% of Bitcoin in your portfolio can make a world of difference. And when you're following all the strategies I lay out in Crypto Cycle, you're going to be rewarded several times over. Digital assets are here to stay, and they're going to define the future. The goal of Crypto Cycle is to make sure you're the smartest person in the room on these new investments and show you a portfolio that gives you the financial independence you've always wanted.
I don't think I'll be the smartest one in the room, but I completely agree with everything else you said there, Chris. Today is your chance to give it a try for yourself, to not only kick the tires, but give it a good, honest drive around the block. We're not going to make you pay for anything you can't use. Not on my watch. That's not how we do things around here. All you have to do is give it a try. As I said at the beginning, you can't put all of your eggs in one basket. Part of smart investing is following the wisdom of others who know more than you about other areas of the market. I've used this strategy my entire career to make money. Chris in crypto is exactly that guy for me. Because Bitcoin's possibilities are just too big to ignore. Missing out on this potential would be foolish of me. As I've said today, crypto isn't my bread and butter, but Chris has shown me how to turn it into my grape jelly. And I'm looking forward to what it can do. I hope you'll join me in seeing what this is all about. Chris has already helped his readers make more than they ever thought possible, and we keep moving up from there. And then please do us just one favor. If you do see success, as we believe you will, please write in to let us know about it. And of course, send us any questions you have as well. I can personally vouch Chris is the real deal, and he's here to make sure you're successful. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. All you have to do now is click the button below to get started.